So I'm back again. I actually distilled the first batch of essential oils that I had. Unfortunately, I think the problem was either, I distilled it too many times. So I guess that's a learning point of need to only do it once, or, I tried to put the grains in the still with using a bag, and I think it might have scorched. I think it might have scorched the bag. I'm not sure. It kind of looks like it to me. So that did kind of takes a little scorch, a little burnt. The floral scent I was expecting kind of got lost because of the burnt nature, and possibly also over distilling it. So right now I'm running the second one. I believe it had some orange peels, some coriander. I forgot what else was in there, but pretty much it's going pretty quickly, as you see. So that's roughly about that's roughly about 75 to 80% vapor that's coming off, and it's about 20% of the was actually still in liquid form. And how I know that is that there's plenty of graphs and there's plenty of graphs that pretty much someone has done this experiment X number of times, and just it's most likely going to be the same. I mean, you're going to have slight variances because of the essential oils, but for the most part, 90% of it is going to be most of it is going to be your water. And so far done 5. That initial 20, I mean, in a larger setting, you would have probably more of the stuff that you don't want to drink in there, because it's such a small amount, I didn't think it required more than I think the last time I collected 100 milliliters, and I think that's probably too much. So we are kind of doing this a little bit slower. And you might notice there's no music playing in the background. I was kind of incorrect regarding playing music. Even though we do license music in our establishment, you still have to get permission to post it online. So once I posted that video, there's like 20, 30 copyright strikes. Is like whatever. So I didn't post it to make money, so it'd be alright. I want to say once I didn't measure the percentage before I poured it in there. I kind of diluted it a little bit more just to make sure that the elements didn't burn dry, and so it might have been around 20, maybe around 20 to 30%. And so, right now, again, that is, it's probably going to stick around that 20 to 15% for the longest. But, again, the higher the temperature goes, the less essential oils that are still left in both the vapor and the actual pot. And so if you notice, I have one here and one there, and that is leaking a little bit. Yeah. So the purple one is the one up top, and the red is the actual pot. And so essentially what I'm going to do is that, again, this first bit, not going to use it. I'm going to taste all of these. See how, I'm going to taste all of these up to a certain point. So that's going to be like my, as you call it, hearts portion of the gin run. There's probably going to be a little bit of the heads in there as well, but not as much as this, because like I said, because of this being such a small batch. And so I'll check number 2, see how that tastes, and go so on and so on. And then probably around maybe number, I'd say 8 or 9, that's probably where the tails is going to start at. And so I'll test that, see how that tastes, and I may add that in, I may not, but it's just time and testing. And so this is pretty much just it's not the gin that I particularly want to make or perfect, but I mean, it's a variation. And I think I probably need to go on here and switch that out. So I may actually need more beakers, because that's still running pretty lean. And like I said, I think yesterday when I distilled the other one, it's just because I probably distilled it too many times, and possibly that bag got scorched, that it didn't smell as amazing as it did the first time I distilled it. But live and you learn. And just in case you were wondering, you can get you one of these nice looking hoodies from our website, SafiVodka.com. I guess at some point in time we will make a Pour Libations website, just because Safi Vodka won't be the only thing we're making, but I guess at the time it was a fairly easy website to remember. And so that's it. Like I said, get you a Get you a hoodie, sweatshirt, a tank top, etc., etc. I don't want to walk too far away because that is coming off pretty quickly. And like I said before, our space is available for rent. So if you have a meeting, a draft party, hey, maybe even if you want to do a Super Bowl party, our space is available. And hopefully at some point in time we will get our distiller's license. For some reason they have not updated their site, so hopefully next week they'll give us some good news, because it's been about a week since they've made any updates. And just to kind of point out, we did win platinum for the best vodka at the LA Spirit Awards. Next year we won gold, unfortunately, but hey, it's better than nothing. And that same year we did win bronze at the San Francisco Spirit Award. And so we do want to enter in some of the new products we want to make this year. It's just timing. I mean, we hope that the whole permit thing kind of happens quickly. That, as well as, the additional loan that we're trying to get to kind of finish this space out and kind of, put together a lot of our inventory that we need. I mean, we have just about everything we need already. It's just, like I said, that little bit of a hurdle getting over. Yep. But we got all the machinery. We got it's the fermenters, the still, the bottle labeler. I bought for Safi anyway, I bought probably about 5,000 labels. The tops, the capsules. Got plenty of sweet potato mash. I'd say at some point in time we will do the mixto, which is a mixture. Our mixto is going to be a mixture of sweet potato and guava syrup. And so I guess just kind of playing with that ratio, and because it's not I guess a recognized category. It's kind of people, ideally they want you to have they want you to have the majority of it to be, agave based fermentables. But in ours, I kind of want to have more sweet potatoes, so maybe more than 50%, maybe like a 60-40 sweet potatoes to agave. I just have to see how that tastes. And, because we do have smaller, we have smaller fermenter, smaller still. That's something that we can experiment with and not, use I think it's like 15 to 20 kilos of like just raw agave syrup versus, however much sweet potatoes. So, in practice, to make like a bottle of Safi is roughly about 13 pounds of sweet potatoes. And so I'm not crushing all that. I'm either getting it as a puree or, a syrup, and it just depends. Like you do get different flavors from, the different forms. And so possibly the puree would possibly work better in that instance. The only problem with that is that, again, that's a lot of puree, and that's a lot of manual labor. Whereas in terms of like using a syrup, it's a lot easier. You dilute it. We just have to see. Well, I guess the main thing is, like I said, just getting set up and get everything going. So, in terms of our gins, I should say, it's one of the things that, people don't keep in mind is that, with a gin, you lose a lot of alcohol. And so I'm not really sure that I would want to make, our own, to use Safi to make the gin just because of just because of like the amount of waste that that you incur. And so we may possibly use like a grain neutral spirit, not sure. Just cost wise and the amount of waste that you incur. The only other thing I can think of is possibly doing like just a regular potato vodka, making a regular potato vodka and using that for our gin. Because that does provide, that's more economically feasible than using sweet potatoes as a gin. I mean, that would be like a highly specialized, probably $50 to $60 bottle of gin. I'm not sure, but let's see where we are at. So we're on number 8, and so roughly about about half a liter. I'd have to look that up to see where that's at in terms of the percentages, but I would assume that's probably around 70 to 65 in terms of what's coming off, and the 90, that's probably still around 15%. Need to hurry up and finish this up so I can clean up in here a little bit. Kind of do want to switch over, but I think it'll drop the live if I try to look at the graph that I have. Go ahead, switch that out. Not paying attention. So I'm going to finish this up and probably try to come back on once I have everything in line. All right, see you later. And like I said, you can get you one of these nice hoodies on SophieFaka.com. There's plenty of colors. Looks really good in the I forgot what red that is. It's kind of like a it's almost like a neon red. It's not as bright, but you know, the contrast for me is yeah, actually it is that color. I mean, it may look kind of pinkish right now in the light, but I like the contrast between the logo and this color. All right.